Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the podcast. It's going to be a weird podcast
to OVACAST.
because
This is a tattoo one.
this is a tattoo video. This is a tattoo podcast, but also we are both tired. And it is a work day. So we're doing this on a weekday. So if it's a little shorter than usual or whatever, that's why. But we've had a weird week. So I figured if we get this done today,
We'll have less
then this weekend we won't have to do it, and we have other stuff we can do this weekend.
That's thoughtful of you. Now that I'm thinking of it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
so I thought he was. So quickly, what's going on this week? Very, very quickly. When you guys are watching this, it's November, or listening to it, it's November 10th. But Pete's been sick. The kid's been sick.
Yeah.
Nick has been working. I did not sleep well last night because I was worried about the kid being sick. You guys will have all seen this in the vlog. I'll link it in the description.
And Pete too.
That's what I said.
And
Pete's been sick. That was the first thing I said was Pete's been sick.
I know. But
well, Poe was sick, but he only threw up and then he was like fine. It's like when a little kid gets sick and they throw up and they're like, "What can I eat now?" Like he was like,
they're fine.
Pete was kind of scary this morning, but anyway, this is the tattoo video because we thought this would be kind of fun because I have 15 tattoos. Nick has 3. And, okay, so we can talk about, like, when we first started getting tattoos. I got my first tattoo in 2008. And it was my grandmother's initials. They're on my wrist. And, yeah, I got that in 2008. And then, oh my gosh. And then you got to figure out when you got all your tattoos. That's the thing.
What was it like getting your first one?
Honestly, I remember it didn't hurt as much as you thought it was going to hurt, but it hurts. You enjoy the pain. We can talk about that. You do actually really, you find tattoos other than the one on the back of your leg. Your arm tattoos, you found it almost meditative, you said.
Yeah, it's kind of therapeutic. I wish you could do that without leaving marks. There probably is a way.
Probably.
But for being a tattoo, when they were talking about pain, but the arm is one of the easiest spots to get it in. When I had it on my calf, it was an endurance test because of the size. It's by far the biggest tattoo I've ever got. And also because the location, I could not see what level of progress they were at, so it was dragging on and on and on, it felt like.
And I do feel like knowing or seeing what they're doing is, you're like, okay, I can make it like till the end. Okay, I can make it like 5 more minutes. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Because that was my first tattoo. And my second tattoo was my prematurity awareness tattoo on my wrist. And then I got, oh my gosh, the autism tattoo. So I only had 2 tattoos when we met?
I think so. And to describe the tattoo, the autism one is basically these multicolored puzzle pieces.
I was thinking I might pop pictures up and edit it in because I have time before it has to go up.
Oh, okay. That's
then I may pop pictures in for you guys, but if I don't, you can go ahead and describe it. Yeah. It's basically 4 puzzle pieces that are primary colors with a heart in the middle that is voided. The heart is like voided in the middle. It's like an empty hole in the middle. And Connor loves it. Because I know the puzzle piece thing is kind of like controversial now, but he loves it. I got it when he was 5. He's 14 now, so it's permanent. There's nothing I can do. You know what I mean? And then I think the next one I got, I don't know from there. I got that one. I got this one fixed at the same time. My maturity ribbon tattoo. I got that one outlined at the same time. I don't know where I went from there. When you have as many as I have,
it starts to become kind of blurred after a while.
It starts to become, but I have a lot. I mean, I have 15. I know there's people that have like full sleeves that are like, this is just one at this point. But I can remember getting each and every one of my tattoos, like I have a Faith Over Fear cross. I have a Good Night headstone. I have a skeleton hands that make a heart. I have my mom's handwriting. I have Oogie Boogie. We have our matching ghosts
What are the significance of each one? What do they mean to you?
Okay, Oogie Boogie has no meaning. I just really like Oogie Boogie and Nightmare Before Christmas. One of my comfort films. Faith Over Fears because I struggle with anxiety. So I feel like sometimes you just have to, like, try and remind yourself, like, just blindly believe in something because it helps, you know? My mom's handwriting says Miracle Baby, and that's because she lost, I think, either 2 or 3 babies before she had me. And she used to always call me her Miracle Baby, so I got that in her handwriting.
So glad you're here, Bevan.
Yeah. The Good Night and the Skeleton Hands, those ones were Flash, first of all. I think I might get Dad put in the Skeleton Hands because it's right by the headstone, and my dad did pass away before I got these tattoos, and I think I might get that done. But these were Flash tattoos, and I got stories about that tattoo artist, but these two were Flash tattoos, and yeah, that was just Flash. I mean, not every tattoo, in my personal opinion. All yours have a meaning.
Right.
But not every single one, I feel like, has to have, like, a really deep, like, meaningful... I have ones that I'm just like, well, I thought it was cool. Well, actually, we were trying to find a tattoo artist in Arizona, and so I've got about 5, just because I was trying to find somebody. Yeah, I'm gonna get there. Just because I was trying to find somebody for us to get tattoos with, because we had such a good artist in California.
We really did. We liked him a lot.
We liked him so much, and we came out here, we're like, oh, there's so many here. It should be very easy to find. No, it's not. I have Psalm 46:5, which is, if God is within her, she will not fall, with a cross. I have Snarf with a heart next to it, and that's the nickname my dad used to call me when I was little. And then I have a bee above my knee with, like, honeycomb behind it. And that is because you guys have heard the story before if you followed our vlog channel for any length of time. But one time I was working at a store in California, and I went to work. And Nick was trying to get the bee's knees from the queen bee on Terraria. And I went to work for 8 hours. And when I came home, he was still playing, trying to get the bee's knees off Terraria. So I was like, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up and see if, like, what's going on. Because after 8 hours, you should have gotten it. It's because it was not available on PC.
Yeah, it was
only available on console.
Or yeah, it was only available on PC and we were playing console.
Oh, yeah,
but one or the other.
It was one way or the other, but he couldn't get it on there. And he's like, 8 hours.
It says for memory she got a tattoo.
I got a tattoo of it.
I think that might have been your first leg tattoo as well.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, it was for sure, because the other 2 I got out here.
Leg tattoos are a big difference. It's not the sorest spot you can get a tattoo, obviously, but it's a step up.
It is literally, and I, like, other than the ones that are on my legs, everything else is on my arms. It's like an endurance test. Like with my B1, I remember he had me, my legs were dangling off the end of the seat and he had me lay back. It was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like think about your legs going off the end of your bed, but you're laying flat on your back. That's not a comfortable position, really.
It's not, yeah.
And I couldn't see what was happening, and I think that was part of it too.
That's tough with the leg going in.
But he did a really good job and I really like it. And then on the other leg, I have a sunflower with a ladybug and a dark purple background that's going to lighten up as it gets older.
Yeah, because she was originally going to have the ladybug be, or the sunflower and the ladybug be on its own, but he was insisting on having a background to it. And he did say that it was going to lighten up over time. And it has just a tiny bit, just barely a little bit.
My skin's dry right
but
now.
It's still very dark. It's supposed to be purple, but it's not.
And he, this tattoo artist was interesting. I have so many interesting stories about tattoo artists. I went one day and I was like, this is what I want. I want a sunflower and I want a ladybug. And he's like, yeah, I can do it. But when I went that day into the tattoo parlor, he was high.
Oh, yeah.
And his eyes were bloodshot. He's like, come back tomorrow because I can't do it today. I'm like, okay. Why I went back, I will never know. I mean, it came out pretty good. I'm relatively happy.
Aside from the background, that's the only thing.
Aside from the background, the fact that the ladybug's eyes are on the back of its head.
Yeah.
Aside from those two things, it's cute. I mean, I've never gotten a compliment on it, but I've also never had somebody go, "Oh, you poor thing." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is. He did the best he could. And it's so close to my knee. This was really a painful one. Yeah. Like, between this one and my B one, this one was... the ladybug was way more painful.
I think I know what was your most painful.
And then we're going to go and work our way down.
What the most painful one is.
To Pennywise, who is on my ankle, I think. Like, okay. So, the funny thing about the Pennywise tattoo is... originally, I had all these pictures of really small, cute little Pennywise tattoos, almost like sticker size. You know what I mean? Like it was gonna be so small. This Pennywise tattoo is probably a good 8 inches from the top of his hair to the bottom of his collar of his shirt.
And about 5 inches wide, or 6 inches wide.
Well, it goes from here to here.
So actually longer, like 7 inches.
And it's probably about 7 inches from his hair to the other side of his hair. Nick's gonna measure. But, this tattoo is near my ankle, kind of. It's a little above my ankle. It's on...
yeah, it's at least 7 inches. Yeah, probably 7.5.
7 inches tall by... Here, go ahead. Oh.
It's 7 inches wide, roughly, give or take.
Oh, you don't need that.
So 7 by 7.
So it's a 7 by 7 inch tattoo. It cost me $180. Not bad. Not bad. But when I tell you, if there was a tattoo that if I could go back in time, it's a beautiful tattoo. He did a great job. I've gotten a lot of compliments on it.
It looks really good.
It looks great. It really does look really, really good. If there was one tattoo that if I could go back in time and not get it, it would be that one. The recovery from that tattoo. First of all, never go into a tattoo parlor not having eaten. I hadn't eaten yet since lunch, and I was going after work. And it took 3 hours. I don't think I was out of there till like 7. Wow. 7:30, and I hadn't eaten since probably noon. Never go into... and I'm diabetic, so never go into a tattoo parlor without having eaten or have a snack on you or something. A protein shake, something. But basically, he shows me the piece. I thought it was going to be smaller. But I'm also, as we kind of know, I'm a people pleaser. I don't want to get in a confrontation with somebody.
Yeah.
So I thought it was going to be smaller. He's like, isn't this great? So he was so excited about it. It's a great size. And while he's going through the whole thing, I'm like, let's do it. Puts it on my leg. I'm like, okay, we're good. Let me tell you something. I could have done this part of my leg, like the side of my leg, all day long. I could have done even back here. On the, like, calf part of my leg, all day long. The minute he got to this inch of shin, I thought I was going to go through the freaking roof. It's right on my bone. You know, it was right on my bone. It hurt so bad. And that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was the tattoo got horribly infected. It got a really thick scab on it, which I've never had that problem with any tattoo I've had. It got really red. I had to take an antibiotic for it. The color has fallen out in places because the scab was so thick. That's why it looks like this here and this here. Because the scab was so thick, it pulled the ink out. I mean, it's Pennywise. So it kind of gives it like that, like, horror-y look. Yeah. But the issue with it was, it took forever to heal. My ankle was swollen really bad. I could barely walk. My calf would, like, seize up every once in a while when I would get up. I mean, it was weeks. It
felt like it was almost 6 months or something. It felt like a really long time. Well, the
thing is we're about 3 years out from when I got it done.
And it still hurts.
And it still hurts. And I think, like I was telling you, I think it's because there's scar tissue underneath it from the scabs and stuff like that. Because there's parts of it, like right here, if you're not looking at it and you feel it, you can feel an indentation, right? If you want to try and feel it. You can feel right there's an indentation of a scab.
Yeah.
Or like, not a scab, but a scar.
Right.
So like if I put shower water or like hot water from a shower on it, it still burns. It's really tender still, and it's been 3 years.
And we've been trying to figure out why it turned out the way it did with that. And part of one of the things we came up with was it's a lot of red dye on that one for the hair and stuff. And maybe you're allergic to that particular
But the part that got the most like thick was down here where the blue is. That was the like thickest, scabbiest part.
Maybe.
And it never turned like bright red or anything like that. But I don't know. That was a really horrible experience, and I will never get a tattoo that far down on my leg again. And I don't know if it was a combination of, because like I said, I've been diabetic since I was 25 years old. I've gotten many, many tattoos. I don't know if it's because it was a lower extremity, and maybe it was partially my body just being like, okay, we need to take a little extra time to heal this.
Yeah.
That could have been it too, but I will never get a tattoo on the lower part of my body again.
It's such a bad combination too of not only is it the lower extremity where your shin bone and all that is, but it's also the largest tattoo.
Yeah,
that you
it was
have.
the biggest one I have, and it's the biggest one I probably ever will have.
Like even the Oogie Boogie tattoo, that one's pretty big. The Bee's Knees one, that's pretty big, but I don't think anything is as big as that one.
No.
Is.
And I remember when I was done, I was like, okay, I just want to go home. I want to eat. I want to go to bed. And he's like, well, when you come back, we can finish the shading. And I remember distinctly thinking, I am not coming back. And I mean, he's a good artist. Don't get me wrong. He did my cross on my arm, and he is a good artist. He's a very nice guy. But it was just one of those situations where I was like, you feel like, I don't know. Like, I was like, I'm not. And then once it started healing, I had to call him, and I was like, hey, what's going on with this? And he's like, kind of like, I don't know, I haven't gotten any complaints about the ink or anything. I was like, okay. Because you kind of want, with a tattoo artist, somebody you feel like you can trust them, and they have your best interest at, you know what I mean? Like, when I ripped off my Sanoderm too quick with this one, and I got a rash, I sent the picture to...
Our old tattoo
I almost said his name. Our old tattoo artist. Yeah. And he was like, oh, just put some, put Neosporin on it. It's just you ripped off the first layer of skin because you ripped the thing off too quick. Like, he was willing to, like, help me. Like, this is the tricks and tips. But even this guy was like, yeah, I just don't know. Like, no trick, no tip, no go to the doctor, nothing. No, and it was, like, oozing, and it was really bad. But I also couldn't get a Sanoderm to stick on it.
Yeah.
That was the other problem. If it had a Sanoderm on it, it may have been a different situation, but I just could not get one to stick on there.
And normally that's what our strategy is. We put a Sanoderm on there for quite a while, like 4 or 5 days or however long, and then we take it off rather than crusting up.
Rather than having it get crusty, and then, which I've healed tattoos both ways.
Yeah.
But I prefer Sanoderm. You prefer
Me
Sanoderm.
Too,
it's just easier. You don't have to worry about trying to... I mean, you do have to clean it after you take the Sanoderm off. But I don't feel like you're sitting there like, okay, well, I have to, like, do the soap and...
Yeah. It's a lot. To this day, I still don't know exactly why it turned out the way it did.
I don't know.
Why... But I'm just glad that the healing process was over because I was really worried about you.
Yeah,
I was worried.
Bad.
I was worried in the extreme that we might have to amputate. I was really worried.
It was
it might
really
get to
bad.
that
It
point.
was getting so. It was getting so swollen, and I had to work. That was the thing. I had to go to work, so it was swollen, and then there was like a bruise that was settling to the bottom of my foot. It was awful. It was totally awful. Let's talk about your tattoos soon.
Sure. The first tattoo I ever got was because I thought for a long time if I ever got tattoos, I wanted a half sleeve, pretty much from the crook of my elbow up. The reason for that is if I ever worked a job, the t-shirt would cover it. I didn't want to get a tattoo in a place where I couldn't cover it up if I had to go to work easily without having to wear long sleeves. So I figured Halloween and fall tattoo on my upper right arm and then maybe a winter tattoos on my upper left arm. And so, but I've always kept putting it off because it's my people's perspectives on tattoos and what they mean and whether you should get them or not are very different. But for me, it's like I'm just gonna spend a lot of money. It's gonna be on the body the rest of my life. I'm gonna have to really think this through and choose carefully because of both of those reasons. So I just kept putting it off. But then Michelle thought, hey, why don't we get our
I sprung it on you.
first tattoo together?
I think we vlogged it.
Yeah. And it's basically a ghost with a heart on there and two little beady eyes and a mouth in the middle. And she got one and I got one and it's the same. That's, because I kept calling her Boo. That's one of the nicknames I call her. And she calls me Boo too. And so we got ghosts. So that was the first tattoo. That was with that tattoo artist was so great. I wish we could meet another one like him because he was reassuring and laid back and he listened to you and if there was any questions on aftercare he was there.
Yep.
He was the perfect tattoo artist. His art style was great. He could draw well. He took submissions well and everything.
He took your idea and he was like, yeah. Like, if you say him something, like when we did with the ghost, we were like, this is exactly what we want. This is exactly what we want. We want these he will do exactly what you're asking him to do.
Yeah.
If you're like, okay, like with my bee tattoo, he did that one too. I was like, this is kind of what I would like. Here's a few ideas. And then he drew something. You know what I mean? Because it was more original. But,
and he was really good with sanitation and cleaning and everything. You didn't have to worry about anything like that. He was a great personality too.
Yeah, he did have a really good personality.
He was. I don't know if we'll ever come across a tattoo artist as good as him ever again.
Sorry if you guys hear the dogs are fighting.
But I really lucked out for my first tattoo. Yeah. Second tattoo is the head of the pumpkin from Terraria because I love fall time. And I love Terraria is my favorite survival crafting game. I love that game. I've been playing it for years. So I thought pumpkin would be perfect. It's from one of the fall time events, the Halloween event. And I got that one. Same guy. And it turned out great. Each time I got the arm tattoo again, like I said before, it's a very pleasant pain, if that makes any kind of sense at all. You almost get into like a flow state when it's happening where you're just enjoying the sensation. And it's kind of therapeutic, really. And those were my first two tattoos. And then we moved. Yeah. And to commemorate the move, we wanted to get tattoos. And I thought I'll get my first leg tattoo because it's kind of like I'm stepping into this new state and get a tattoo. And I had all these different ideas in my head. And I thought we had a cactus back at the old place. And I kept thinking how awesome would it be if we put a sheet over it to make it a cactus ghost. And so I thought of that idea in my head, and then I saw this cactus coming out of a thing with the ghost on it, because I looked up cactus ghost, and this thing came up out of a potted plant. So rather than a potted plant, I thought jack-o'-lantern. So basically I got a jack-o'-lantern with a cactus coming out of it with a sheet on it, and then it looks like a ghost.
Yeah.
And that's what I decided to get. Now, when I showed this tattoo artist the picture, I forgot that there was a red kind of splotchy background to it.
Like a watercolor almost. It's almost like a watercolor tattoo.
Watercolor, yeah, background. And this is one of those, like I said, the leg tattoos are so much more difficult than the arm tattoos. And there are tougher spots than the leg, so I can only imagine. Because you don't see what progress you're at, what level of progress you're at. So there were so many times I thought he was done and he was not. It happened like 5-10 times. I thought, okay, surely he must be done by now. Surely it's been a half hour, an hour and a half. Surely he's got to be done by now. But no, it kept going. It kept going and kept going. And the pain was a lot worse than the arm one. It wasn't a pleasant pain. It was at first. Like the first 10 minutes or so, it was kind of like the arm. But then after a while, it really is an endurance test with the leg. And at first I didn't like it because of the red background. Everything else was good about it, and the size. It's also the biggest tattoo. Again, the leg, which is a tougher area to be at, and it's the biggest tattoo I've ever had.
Right.
I hated it at first. I did not react well, and I feel bad that I did not.
Yeah, because I was supposed to get a tattoo by the same person.
Yeah.
I was supposed to get my Pennywise by him, and it was going to be on where my flower with my ladybug was, and it was going to go up my leg. That was going to be a whole thing, but I was supposed to, and he had drawn it out, and he's like, this is what I want to do. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be great. And he goes, okay, well, for yours, you're going to have to come back tomorrow, because it was going to be a bigger piece for mine. And I'm like, all right. And so we got yours done. And as soon as we looked at the other tattoo, and I guess maybe we were so focused on the cactus and making sure that looked right that we didn't even notice the red background on the sample. So when Nick's tattoo had the red background, we were like, we almost thought he had made creative choices without saying anything.
Without asking or talking or anything, yeah.
And and we got in the car, and Nick goes, well, we'll have to see what happens when we come back tomorrow. Or you said something about us coming back to get mine. I said, I'm not going back to him. Nick was like, what are you talking about? I said, I'm not going back. I go, after he did that to your leg, I'm not going to go back and have him completely do my whole... And Nick was not happy.
I feel bad about it now, and now it's grown on me a lot more, and I like it better now, especially now looking back at the original that we gave him.
Yeah, well, when you're upset, your reaction's different.
Now, seeing that the original 2 ideas that I gave him, one of them did have that red splotchy background to it, and having seen that later on, after the fact, I was more understanding. I reacted well to him. Like,
oh yeah, you were
I didn't
fine.
flip out in the studio or anything crazy, but once we got in the car, I was pissed.
Yeah.
Because again, I thought he just
took a creative liberty on your skin. That's permanent.
Without talking to me about it,
yeah.
And also the fact that it was the most difficult tattoo I had been at that point.
Well, you were in pain, and it was a lot. And thankfully, you put Sanoderm on.
And I apologize to Michelle for how I reacted at that time. And I like it a lot better now, and it is one that has grown on me. I like it a lot better than I used to. And the other thing, too, is I had sympathy for Michelle. One way your mom told me about it, it was like you helped save Michelle from that situation, because if she had gone first... And your mom is great in a lot of ways, but she helped put it in perspective for me.
Yeah, could you imagine, though, if I had gone first and gotten that huge ass thing?
Yeah, because he was talking about
his head was going to be in my vagina.
Yeah.
Like, it was, I mean, not really, but you know what I mean? Like, I mean Pennywise is not the tattoo artist. But Pennywise's head was going to be, like, way up by my, like, here. Yeah. Like, by my pelvis, almost. Like... I said, well, the thing is with him is I told him straight out the gate, I'm like, the only thing I have, and I've always said this with Pennywise stuff, is I don't want anything that has Georgie in it.
Yeah.
Because I just think that, I understand that you're getting Pennywise and he's the killer and yada, yada, yada. I get that part. Yes. Yeah, I have a story about that too. But I get that part. You know what I mean? I get that it's a very niche thing.
Yeah.
To like Pennywise as much as I do, but not like, I just don't like the Georgie part. And that's my prerogative, and I didn't want Georgie on me, period.
Yeah.
Because not only that, but I think having, like, children that aren't your own, even if they're not real on your body, is weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, I get people that get pictures of, like, their niece, their nephew, their son, their daughter, whatever. That's fine. But, I don't know. So, that was my one thing, was because he was going to put Georgie on there too, and I was like, yeah, I don't want Georgie.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get the boat, I'll get the balloon. I don't even like balloons. I'll do the balloon, but I will not do Georgie. So that's why he had to redraw it. But yeah, I get that it's very niche to want to, like, Oogie Boogie, and you know what I mean? Oogie Boogie's the bad guy too, and Pennywise is the bad guy. Like, I get that. But, and it's so funny to me because Nick really likes from Five Nights at Freddy's. Springtrap is one of your favorite characters.
Yeah, the design is interesting. Is kind of unique.
Yeah.
Basically, it's basically someone who's a corpse inside of this machine, of the spring lock machine. So it has a whole other level of depth. I don't like the character itself,
Right.
like the person, but just from a creative standpoint, the design is interesting.
Well, it was funny because, so me and Nick have Kindles and we do Kindle stickers. And after I watched the movie with Nick, I got a Bonnie sticker. Because Bonnie's like one of my favorites. I like Springtrap because I love Matthew Lillard. But Bonnie, you know.
Yeah, for people, spoiler
Well, if you
alert,
didn't watch the movie, you probably don't. The people that are listening to this probably don't even care about Five Nights at Freddy's. If you do, you already know.
But we are Matthew Lillard fans.
But I'm a huge Matthew Lillard
Scream
fan.
And Scooby-Doo and SLC Punk and all
Yeah,
these
and I got a Bonnie sticker, so I told Nick you should get a Springtrap sticker for your Kindle. This man, he goes, I don't want a Springtrap sticker. He goes, I don't want a sticker of the killer on my Kindle. The way I threw my leg on the bed, I'm like, really? You don't want a sticker, a non-permanent sticker on your Kindle of Springtrap?
Not the killer. You're
like,
saying...
yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, not the killer, Nick. We can't possibly have a sticker of the killer. He's like, I didn't even think about it like that. But I've gotten a lot of compliments on my Pennywise
I think out of all of them, that's the one you usually get the most compliments on. Which I think it should be, because that's the one you suffer the most for. That's the one you, to this day, you still...
What's your favorite? Like, if you were like, of my tattoos.
Mine would be the Boo, because it's us.
Well, not sentimentally. Artistically.
Definitely the pumpkin one.
Mine.
Oh, of yours, artistically.
What's your favorite?
That's a tough one. It's between the bee's knees, because again, us and the Terraria. Artistically, I like that one because of coloring.
Yeah.
And then, but the Oogie Boogie one is unique, or kind of cool, because it's not just Oogie Boogie on its own. It has those little motif things.
Yeah, he did a really good job of making it like I said. I'll try and insert a picture of them, even if I have to do like a collage and put that over where we usually have our OVACAST.
Yeah.
I might just put a collage of our tattoos.
I should have thought about doing that for the recording, that we wouldn't even have to.
I can just edit it in. But it's Oogie Boogie, and he's kind of more of like a chibi, like a different kind of artistic design. And then he's got Lock, Shock, and Barrel, their little masks in black, and he's got a little pumpkin and stars and a moon, and the guy did a really good job. Yeah. He's got little dice in his hand, and
he has a similar red background. It's not as much. But it's pretty similar to the one I got on my calf.
I mean, he did a good job for me. I brought in a magnet, and I was like, I want this, and I had a 3D magnet. He's like, for $200, I can make it cool.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. The price that we've paid out here, like if we're talking tattoo pricing,
is pretty good.
It's been really good.
It's been tough to find a good artist that has all those qualities that the old artist that we went to has, but I feel kind of bad for Michelle in some ways, because she's been like
the pincushion of tattoo artists trying to find somebody.
Because since the calf tattoo, I have not gone to any other tattoo artist here.
Yeah, he hasn't. He haven't even gotten another tattoo, and I've been to 1, 2, 3. I've been to 4 different tattoo artists trying to find somebody. Actually, I've been to 5, but 2 of them were at the same tattoo place, which now is not even there anymore because one's in jail for drugs and the other one's in jail for assault.
Yeah.
So, I remember we saw those news. I'm like, what?
It's kind of weird when something like that happens, because you in any kind of context, whether it's a coworker or whether it's somebody that you like, your barber or whatever, because you think, oh, these people are
good people.
Yeah, and you don't think of them in that kind of way, and then for that to happen, you're surprised.
Yeah, it's like a shock. We've had that happen more than one time.
Yeah,
like you're like watching the news and you're like, or on Facebook or whatever, and you're like, wait a minute. Like, you'll see somebody, and then I'll be like, is this who I think it is? Like Well, I sent it to Connor's dad because Connor's dad's gotten tattoos with me at that place.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this who I think it is? And
there's at least 2 different coworkers from 2 different places I worked at where something like that has happened.
Oh, I've had it. Yeah, you've had
great.
it.
Yeah.
And then there was also one when I worked at the place that you're talking about. Same thing. We were sitting there watching the news, and I'm like, holy.
Yeah.
And these are not little tiny crimes. These are like, you're getting like 9 years in jail, you know?
And so it's kind of scary to think about how close you are sometimes in terms of how normal it can seem, how normal the person can seem to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't gotten another tattoo since then. I've considered getting tattoos of other things, but again, for the money and the fact that it's permanent, it's just never. I've kept putting it off.
I really do think though, if you want to get one, you should go to the guy that did my Oogie Boogie.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick one here, that would be the one to go to.
He's still doing them. He just sent me one, and he's like, do you want me to do it? And I'm like, if I had $400 for you to do it,
yeah,
it's a pile of books with a dragon on top.
Yeah, because of Fourth Wing, and she loves to read books. I like to read too, but she's more of a reader than I am.
It's so funny though, because when we are gonna have a book podcast where we just talk about bookish stuff, but that's in the new year. But I'll sit there, I'll tell him full stories, and he'll be like, I actually would like to read. Remember the last book I read, The Spell Shop?
There's a lot of things where it's like that, where she'll get into a show or a book or something, and then eventually I get into it because she talks.
Oh, yeah, or I'll play a show on... I've noticed sometimes, like, I'll play Netflix or something on the computer. Not so much anymore because I don't have speakers. But I'd play, like, BoJack Horseman or Big Mouth or something. And then, like, halfway through, Nick's sitting there. And he's watching it too. I'm like, yeah. I'll notice that you take your headphone out, your one earphone, and I'm like, you're listening, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I've thought about future tattoo. Have you thought about any future tattoos that you?
I want to get one for Pete, and maybe one for Jack. But I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm like, right, if I was to say right now I'm not going to get another tattoo, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd be alright with it. But you get into these where you just get far enough out from a tattoo where you forget that it hurt.
Right. I don't think I'd ever want to get a leg tattoo.
One. No, I will never get my legs again. I have a whole arm. I have all this space.
Yep.
I will never do my legs again. And when I run out of arm space, I'm done.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever want to get another leg tattoo again. It would have to be... I was very lucky that most of mine, if not all of mine, was on the calf, the back part. And I didn't have to deal with shin bone like you did. I've lucked out that way.
It's so funny once you get a tattoo because you'll see other people and I will literally cringe. Like, people have them on their kneecaps and the front of their leg, and I'm just like, I don't know. You must have a hell of a pain threshold because I don't know how anybody can, or pain tolerance. I don't know how anybody.
Yeah, I thought I was doing pretty good with the arm one because the arm ones feel nice. The arm ones feel good. And then I got the leg, and I'm like, okay, this is what... Because for so long before I got a tattoo, people were like, oh, it's painful, it's painful, it's painful.
It feels like a cat scratch.
And I was afraid of needles, but I faced my fear. I donated blood and stuff, and I faced my fear of that. And then now that I got my leg tattoo, I'm like, okay, I get it now. Because when I got my arm one, I'm like, this is nothing.
Right, it is nothing.
In fact, this is not even... It's pleasant. It's nice. This is therapeutic. I can see why people would get tattoos everywhere because this feels great. But then I got the leg tattoo, and I'm like, nope. There's our worse spots to get a tattoo than the leg, and this is... I'm not tapping out yet, but I imagine if it went on for another hour or two, I probably would have.
My easiest tattoo to get done was on the front of my arm. This one. The cross tattoo. I don't know. There was something about getting it right there on that muscle. There was times that it literally just felt like somebody was taking a pin going like this.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't feel anything.
It's nice, yeah. I thought about getting a forearm tattoo from the base of my wrist up to the crook of my elbow.
Ooh, that's going to hurt.
it would be like a tree, like a fall tree.
Yeah, but that's gonna hurt. Right in your ditch is gonna hurt.
Yeah, that's the other part. When I was getting a leg tattoo, my leg would have spasms.
Yeah.
That's the other part too. But I'm probably likely, like for what I said, for the reasons I said, I'm probably not going to get a forearm tattoo. I don't see myself ever getting one because, again, jobs.
It's too hot out here to wear long sleeves to a job.
Yeah. I have thought about a couple of tattoos. I have not gotten any Christmas tattoos yet. Yeah. So it'd be cool to do like a skull with a Santa hat and crossbones. Something like that. Something that's kind of Christmassy but also kind of cool. Maybe like some Christmas lights. I don't know, or a really cool scary looking snowman. There was a snowman with a torch and he had like fangs and stuff. I thought about getting the snow golem with the pumpkin head from Minecraft for Connor, holding a puzzle piece. That's what I thought about getting on my left arm for the Christmas one. If I had to go with the Christmas one, I'd probably get the snow golem one next. For Halloween, I would want to get the Twilight Zone door or the Majora's Mask would be cool because that's my favorite Legend of Zelda game, that and Twilight Princess. For Halloween after that, it'd be kind of tough. I thought about getting Hershey Special Dark Bar, but it says Tales from the Dark Side because that's one of my other favorite horror anthology ones. But after that, I don't know what I get. Those are just the ideas I have now. Do you have any ideas of what tattoo you'd want to get in the future?
Not really. I want to get one for Pete, though, for sure.
Like a poodle one?
Poodle. I don't know what I would get, though.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get his paw print. I want to get something like, because sometimes when you try to get like a portrait, you have to get something that represents them. Because I feel like when you try to get like a portrait or like it's never gonna look right. You know what I mean? And I don't know. And then as you age, it's good. So I don't know. I would want to get something that would represent him, but I don't know what I would get. Because all he does is be on the bed. I'm not getting a bed tattoo.
Yeah.
Maybe like a little poodle, but like a cartoon one or something. I might do that. And Jack would be easy. You just need a cat with one eye.
There was a really cool geometric one that I saw that would be cool and it would fit for Halloween too.
Oh yeah.
A long time ago. I could probably find it again if I wanted to, but
yeah.
The other Twilight Zone one I was thinking about getting is the skull from the Masks episode because that's one of my favorite ones. And I thought that would fit for Halloween as well. But then it's hard to do a skull like that and it not seem generic. Like, oh, this is the Twilight Zone specific skull from that episode. That was the drawback. So I thought about the door with the starlight and the night type of thing.
I saw somebody with a door the other day. And it had the swirl thing behind it.
Oh, yeah.
Like this, and then it had the
Twilight
door.
Zone spiral thing.
Yeah.
The other one I thought just now, and I was going to get on my upper right shoulder area, was the Umbrella Corporation logo from Resident Evil, because I love the Resident Evil series, too. That would be another good Halloween one.
You know what you should put across it?
You
should put a little saying around it.
We have a funny story.
I thought that was going to be easy. Around the whole thing.
There was a part Resident Evil 5. You can play co-op if you know the game. And I played that game 5-10 times by myself. I've beaten the game 5-10 times. There's this part where your partner falls off into the lava and catches themselves on the cliff. And when I've played that so many times with the AI, it just gets up, no problem. Like, it doesn't seem to be any kind of struggle at all. But when you're playing as that character, you have to button mash that, like, your life depended on it. Like, it's furious, like, it's a real struggle. And I did not know that at the time. And so Michelle is unfortunately playing that character in that moment. And so I'm thinking, oh, she's going to just press tap A a couple times, get up, no problem, be fine. And I say, this is supposed to be easy, come on.
He's like yelling at me, come on, hit it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I am hitting it.
She's trying really hard.
And he's yelling, come on, hit the button, hit that. And I finally threw it at you. I'm like, you do it then.
And then he
started, he's like, this is supposed to be easy. I'm like, yeah. Oh my God, it was so funny.
And I've been joking about her about that too, because Resident Evil 4 just got or the remake, and I was joking with her chronologically. Resident Evil 5 is supposed to be next,
Lordy.
but some people are saying Code Veronica is going to be the next one, which I like Code Veronica too. But so I was joking with her when they do the remake, is she going to play with me again on Resident Evil 5?
No.
The other added part too is she gets motion sick with 3D games.
And I was struggling trying to get through that damn game with you, and you were screaming at me. See how he is? Everybody who thinks he's so nice, no, he's not.
Not when it comes to video games.
No, he's an ass. He's a drill sergeant.
Come on. There was that part with the conveyor belts and the zombies and
yeah,
those
I was
crates
just thinking
too.
that too, and you're like, jump, go, jump, go. He's like trying to freaking talk me through. I'm like, this is not helping. But anyway.
You have to remind yourself, especially when you've done something so many times.
Yeah.
That you have to remind yourself of when you first started and that it didn't come like second nature.
Yeah.
When you've done it so many times, you can kind of forget that fact of what it was like to struggle and be new at it and do all this stuff. And so you have to have that level of empathy and understanding in your head and sometimes I struggle with that at first, not forgetting that I struggled with that too when I first started.
Yeah, well, everybody starts somewhere. But
that goes for anything.
It's easy to forget, though, too, when you're trying to get something done, and you're like, I need to do this now, and you need to catch on quick. You know what I mean? It's hard sometimes, because we've all done that with jobs or whatever.
Yeah, I can go for anything in life, really, when you've done something for so long and so many times, and you don't even think about it. But for someone else, it's a whole new thing for them, and But yeah, that's the other tattoo is the Umbrella Corporation logo. That would be cool to get if we like won the lottery.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'm just like, is there anything that I really want to get tattooed right now? Not really. I think I'd be okay. A bookish one would be fun, but
I think if
just pause it, please.
Sure.
Yeah, what's up?
Sorry about that, guys.
But yeah, there's nothing. I wouldn't mind getting like a bookish one, like books or books with tea on top or something fun like that. But like I said, there's nothing that I'm like, oh, I need to get this before. You know what I mean? There's nothing like I'm like.
Yeah, there's not as much of an urgency with it. Like, oh, I really want to get this. It's like this is gonna cost $100 and something.
Yeah, that's the other thing is I'm like I have so many other things I'd rather spend that money on than a tattoo.
Yeah, me too. I could get another computer part or do something like this, or we could go on a nice dinner, or we could go on vacation and do this. There's almost always something else that seems to be better spent for money.
Right.
If I had to get another tattoo, I'd probably get the snow golem on my left arm because I do not have any Christmas ones or winter ones on my left arm, and was one of the goals was have winter on my left and fall on my right. But aside from that, there's still not really this big drive.
There's not a big.
I think if we had our old tattoo artist, it would be more of a. We probably would have gone more often, but.
Yeah. But he was getting expensive too, because the better they get, the better the art is, the more it costs.
Yeah.
So.
But. Yeah,
that's it for the tattoo. If you guys have any questions about tattoos, I guess, or.
Yeah, you just let us know down below in the comments.
Yeah, let us know if you have any tattoos.
Yeah, your tattoos, your tattoo story. There's the whole tattoo pain chart. I forgot to talk about that. Where I can't remember what area is the toughest to get a tattoo in. If you guys know, let know down below in the comments.
Butt crack.
You have someone like a goblin coming out of there or something.
Oh. But our next episode is going to be about YouTube, how we got started and stuff.
And all the various history of watching videos.
Yeah.
Basically just YouTube in
It's going to be basically a stream of consciousness about YouTube.
Yeah.
So we will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Hope you all have a good day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.